This is the making of Papadopoulos and Sons. Come on.
Yeah, mate, you got me.
Everybody find it.
Good luck, everyone. Turn over, please.
One, take one.
Split track.
Set.
Okay, stand by. We're set. And action.
At the very beginning, we have a very successful businessman who's made his fortune in Greek food manufacturing. He lives in a huge house. He's got 3 children, but his wife has passed away. So he's detached from his kids, he's detached from his life, and really detached from his roots. Harry, our hero of the story, has over-leveraged himself and
goes bust due to the crashing of the banks.
all 8,000 members of staff have been asked to leave while the bank is put into liquidation. Forgot what I was going to say.
As a consequence, he is forced to reunite with his brother, who is a wayward creature.
Oh, sorry. Duck. I said duck.
He calls Spiros, he calls him in and says, listen, this and that, that's the situation. We need to sell the 3 brothers because I need some cash and I need to just get by temporarily. And Spiros thinks about it and he says, no, we can't do that.
Their only asset is a fish and chip shop, which the 3 children didn't know existed. So they pack off and move to the fish and chip shop.
And he also meets Sophie, who is part of the accounting firm, who is advising him on his business deals. Sophie sort of helps him along the way.
It all seems to be going well for getting the house back.
So in the end he chooses, what happens in the end?
And then the family have to make their mind up between riches and real happiness.
I would say it's a story of family coming together. It's quite nice, and learning to appreciate what they have rather than what they used to have.
And it's a story of them rediscovering themselves, their relationship and their identities.
Tried to write a novel about, God, it must have been years ago. I've always been wanting to write a story in this area for years. So I started as a novel, then I wrote a one-man show, then I did a 2-hander, 2 brothers in Birmingham, then a 1-hander, and about 10 years I've been trying to write a story about what one loses in the pursuit of, in when you try and improve your circumstances materially, what is lost along the way, and obviously drawing on my own experiences, being the son of an immigrant, my parents starting with very little, nothing. My father came from extreme poverty and became incredibly successful. What is lost on the way, and then what price do you pay? So this is a story. I would have been happy if I'd just written that novel and got it that way. Then I would have been very happy.
So I imagine a beauty. It's got to be quite ceremonial. This. I imagine kind of Jimmy Rasulis carrying it quite ceremoniously, and I imagine the family coming out here, walking across.
It appealed to me and my personal preferences in terms of filmmaking and the sorts of films that I enjoy watching. Horror movies and action films are fantastic, but we don't live in them. And what really appeals to me about this script is its honesty in terms of real life. You laugh, you cry, You know, it's up, it's down. I'm quoting from the film now. And that's what, and the way Marcus had created this world and these characters, I knew that it was something that he honestly believed and had experienced. And once you've got that on your desk to work with, then it makes my job very easy.
Well, it was quite a snap decision on his behalf, and I made a snap response to that decision to say, yeah, let's do this. Obviously this is a hugely creative process, and I was confident that Marcus, given his experience doing a lot of drama, would be able to carry that off, and things seem to have been going well to date, so my hunch seems to have paid off from that support, and I'm happy to see it through. This is a very much a process that I have confidence and belief that my brother will fulfill. See you later, Mark. I'm going to head back.
See you in a bit.
I'll see you soon. Good luck with everything. See you later. Bye. Bye.
I thought, well, here's my opportunity to put my money where my mouth is and bring in some Greek dancers. Every day of pre-production, and I imagine every day of the shoot, feels like the day I'm getting married, which is great. I'm getting married 40 times.
The music is playing here.
Marcus and I already had an established working relationship from the times when I produced his short film, The Last Temptation of Chris, and when we wrapped, Marcus came to me about a couple of weeks later and said, I'm going to do it, I'm going to write a feature. And I was like, yeah. We'd always talked about it, and very flatteringly it was always assumed that I would continue to produce for him, so that's when the relationship began.
I kind of thought it was a different sort of film when I first read it, and I must admit I think I was taking it a bit lightly. I hadn't really grasped what it would take to do it, and as I say, as we've moved further and further into it, and I've realised just how complex it is. Because he is, yes, he's a very, very, very successful businessman, and that requires a certain, level of engagement with the world and kind of quick thinking and intelligence and ruthlessness.
Stephen is very funny, and he doesn't know it, which is even better. It's nice to have kind of Frank and Cesare around as well, because they're nearer to my age and quite funny.
Just the James thing, like, I thought the character would be different, but as the camera got on me, and maybe it's laziness, kind of just became an extension of me, which I'm not sure. Is that acting? I thought there was a lot more character work involved, but maybe that's... No, it's not laziness, it's something else.
Dad,
how much can I be owned for?
I think you should be going for it, man. That's exactly right. That's all you need to do. How would you do it? If you were really doing it and you were just feeling good about life.
I got the script through, I think at the same time, but my dad wasn't sure if he was going to do it or not, and I had already got the part before he decided he was going to do it. So I'd like to think he tagged along with me, but I don't know.
When I was on the phone to him, Marcus said, what about your son? You know, do you think that he would be? He must have seen him somewhere else. I don't know what happened. Strictly speaking, Frank wasn't supposed to do anything because he was at RADA. But it was during his holidays, so we thought maybe it would be all right. And so he then offered, before I was able, in a position to accept the role, he offered it to Frank. He offered the role to Frank. So, yeah, I then had to choose whether I wanted to work with my son or not.
Hey. Well done for, you know. Closed?
Got there. Oh, Frank, now.
I suppose it could have been very awkward. I don't know. I have no idea. As it's turned out, it's been just delightful from my end. I never want to work with anyone else again. The whole idea of being able to be with your children after they've left home is I'm sure any parent would go, my God, what a treat.
I actually knew about the film before I read the script. Through my publicist is an old school friend of Marcus's. So she'd read it and she said, I read it in Sort of You, and then I read it, and I thought it was really funny, and it's a nice rounded story.
I treat each actor differently. Each actor has his own way of working, so I try and tailor myself to that own individual actor and the way that they work. You've got issues with the story, you're trying to make sure, are you telling the story? Is it coming across? What am I dropping? What do I need to pick up on? What do I need to be aware of? Then you've got all the technical aspects of filmmaking. So it's so intense. It's the most difficult thing I've ever done. But it's also the most rewarding thing I've ever done, and I've had so much fun. I love the set. I love it. I love the people. I love the diversity of people on the film set.
Okay.
It's really exciting. I've got to go for a take.
The cast has just been lovely. I mean, there's a lovely sense of everyone being individual and yet everyone being able to work together, and I think that's very good and very unusual, and he's created a good ensemble.
Reset.
Enough.
Something for the girls.
No more.
It's not that kind of film.
Not
for the
sweet
female
now,
audience,
as
no?
it was before.
Okay, boards on, stand by. Legs with slightly more clothes.
What?
That was your idea as well, wasn't it?
Am I holding
Perhaps not as wide. We just have to really understand the style of a film, the tenor of it, the tone.
No. Of course, you would.
George has been very fun to work with, the person who plays Spiro.
What about with the European Entrepreneur Award?
I've been thinking of a very dear friend who has been in our life for many years, and who was managing the apartment where my parents live in France. Nothing scares him. He can fix anything, even if he doesn't know how, he'll find a way. He gets involved into all those adventures just because he's a can-do guy. In all the problems, in all the obstacles, he laughs everything away. He's an incredible model.
Okay, money is draining from Harry Papadopoulos' account into Today it's been amazing. We've been Greek dancing in the street, and it's been really beautiful. It's been really special. There is something special about dancing in the street. It doesn't matter what culture you are. It is it's liberating, and it's free, and it's sweet, and lots of good films end on a dance. I'm hoping this is going to be one of them.
See my dad dance.
When he does that,
Yeah, it's funny. Well, because I've seen him rehearse at home, so he's taken the. I think he was a little bit upset with himself actually after the dancing scene. I don't think he thought he did it well enough or something. He's very hard on himself.
So apparently it's Slate 100 next, and Marcus has a big surprise for all the crew. What's that?
A beautiful film that all of us will be proud of.
And the champagne?
And the champagne. And girls, and what else is it you wanted? The girl?
3 oiled nuns and a bath of champagne.
I didn't know you had to get champagne. I really didn't. I really didn't. No one told me this stuff. No one tells you these things.
Slate 100, take one.
Hey! Yay!
Set.
Okay, stand by. Okay, we're set, thank you. Quiet, please, thank you. And action. Katie gets a boyfriend called Mehmet, who is one of the Turkish men from across the road in the kebab shop. Katie meets Mehmet, and I think at first, you know, she's just got to the fish and chip shop. She's just doing anything she can to piss her dad off. So she's smoking, and she meets him, and he's actually, you know, he's a good-looking guy, and she goes with it. But I don't think he's somebody she would have gone out with previous to arriving at the fish and chip shop.
Hello. So my name's Cesare Tarazze, playing Mehmet. I'm going to show you my crib. This is the pad. This is our mint pad. What to show you first? This is our couch, which is proper comfy, and it goes out into a bed. Sometimes I like just to chill, like here, like that, just before I go on the scene, and then I'll wake up. Oh, here's me dad. This is his dressing room as well. This is his crib.
Hello.
We're doing cribs, Dad.
What are you doing?
We're doing cribs.
Alright.
Say hello.
Listen, you want some privacy?
No, you can't.
Sari and Spiros were childhood friends actually. They were brought up together. They were friends as children, and then they had a fish and chip shop in the past. Those guys are the best of friends. And then they've gone, the business is flourishing, but now they came back and there is pressure now.
Remember when we were children, when we were friends,
We weren't Greeks, Turks. Respectfully, I would like you to take your kebabs off the menu.
I got the script, and it was clearly a very low budget film, and there was to be no money in it at all. And I felt as if it had been sent on spec a little bit, actually. So I had to check that this was actually going to be made, and then but I really liked it, and I quite wanted to do it because I keep getting sent scripts for bent coppers and these sort of authority figures who are more or less sort of corrupt, and I don't know what that says about me, but I was really happy to receive something that was more light-hearted.
Sam.
Oh yeah.
Take two. We don't have any seat belts. Wait. Okay. Seat belts.
Don't ask.
No?
Well, anyway, we've stopped driving, so don't really need to.
You can wear yours if you like.
We were very fortunate that our location manager Darren managed to find us a street in London, a working real street that had 2 empty shops on either side, which we were able to take on the lease for the period of the filming, which is obviously much cheaper than paying to close down a real fish and chip shop for the whole duration of our filming. So that left us what money was saved in that area. We could hand over to Julian, our designer, to basically build this fish and chip shop. I think Julian's face was one of horror when we took him to the location for the first time, and he just saw this huge expanse of warehouse and his jaw dropped, but I think quite quickly he relished the challenge and what he could do with it.
So it was supposed to be a 1970s chip shop that our main character and his brother had run for about 10 years. So it was really difficult. We had to find everything that was sort of 1970s and slightly grotty. The furniture is quite easy to find, but to find the vintage range, the chip shop range, was the hardest thing. And we had to go like around Trevor Howson, who sort of specialised in vintage period shop fittings, and source some stuff on eBay and really just sort of bring a lot of bits together to get that sort of quite derelict look. But the difficulty was then when they clean it up to make that look nice. So we had sort of 2 things to do: to make a genuine 1970s chip shop, but also a genuine 1970s chip shop that still looked good.
We were incredibly lucky that we found this really unique location that enabled us to shoot our factory, which is the Papadopoulos factory, all of the Papadopoulos offices, and our awards ceremony and our van sequence all in the same location, which obviously really helps you because you're not losing time travelling or setting up.
I'm always feeling the pressure of time. It is like a sword of Damocles. It hangs over me. It's called 7 o'clock. I mean, in the background you can see people rushing because we've got to get 2 shots in before it hits 7 o'clock. And I have not been able to relax this whole time because of time.
I mean, I think early on in this process we lost a lot of time that we could have used. I mean, there was a lot of time when we'd stand around chatting about football, and actually there were possibly things that, had we been more focused, we might have been able to address, but neither of us quite knew the conversation to be having at that stage. We didn't quite know what we were dealing with.
That's true.
So which becomes very clear as the film goes on, that there are more and more questions. That's because everybody's more and more au fait with what's required of them, and the story is becoming deeper, and you know there are invariably more things to do, and then you realise how much there actually was to do right at the beginning. But
1A mark.
Mark it. After full stop.
film was an incredibly collaborative process because, of course, you then have the actors come on board with their interpretation of the script and the characters. And what Marcus did brilliantly as director was maintain that democracy on set in some ways of letting everybody have their voice.
It's better if it's a separate shot because we can stop, change the camera, get it, start, and it's just for the montage. I need to get as many activities in the can as we can by 1:30. So any creative ideas to get as much as we can in the can will be gratefully appreciated. Like the idea of hanging that up, bang, from the same position, bang, let's go.
Okay, Stephen, would you mind coming to here? This first shot we're going to do.
When he hands you check, walk over to the ladies with the camera. What's my method? I read it, and 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 read it, and then all sorts of things come up, and ideas and things which are invariably crap. But they're no, they are early ones. They quite often are because they're the sort of rather. Well, the thing is, that's the thing. Some of the first impulses turn out to be very good, and you wish you'd stuck with them. But a lot of them are crude and.
But you throw them away. But you have to have them to throw them away.
But sometimes you end up filming those crude ones, and you go, damn it. Later on, you go, shit. I wish I hadn't done that. So you're always adjusting to mistakes that you've made and decisions that other decisions that you've made.
We had one shot to get. How much? And as the first AD said turnover, I looked at my watch and it was 10-7. I thought we've so got time for 2 takes. So she had a glass walled, her whole office was glass. So I kind of stroll in, I walk in, I kind of do a bit of, hey, Cosmo, chat, rhubarb. And then as I turn, I knew that her door opened to the inside, but then as I turned, I pretended as if I thought the door opened outwards, and so just did the old Kong. I was kind of going, Marcus was going, oh my God, what have you done? Have you broken your nose? And I thought, oh dear, they're not finding this funny at all. So what happened was I went, oh, no, sorry, it was a joke. Sorry, no, I was kidding. It was a joke. I was not.
Which went down even worse.
And at which point the first AD went, right, let's go again.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you very much.
I'm coming to the conclusion that maybe film acting doesn't feel like acting, to be honest.
Okay.
It's not the same. Like when you're doing theatre stuff, that feels like acting. Film kind of feels just like how you look at that moment when they've got the camera on your face.
We shot a scene today which I would have put money on being sitting around a table, and it had a certain sort of feel to it. And then all of a sudden he's got us walking in a kind of CSI. What did it? CSI Friday.
CSI Friday.
CSI way, with the kind of wobbly camera and everything. The suits walking down the corridor, kind of talking.
But Stephen, it might have felt like that to you, but it doesn't really look like that.
Fair enough, but the feeling is very different. So you're adjusting to that as well. You're adjusting to something that was one sort of thing, and then you've got no time to turn. You've always got to be quick on your feet. Just got to be so quick on your feet. I always come away from a film going, how do people that are really good in films do it? How do they come up with a performance? Because there are so many variables, there are so many things that you can have no control over whatsoever. And to get to the level of sophistication in the performance that some people do get, I find absolutely staggering. It's a level of sophistication that you might get in the theatre after running a play for 3 or 4 months, and then you really get down to it, and you know what you don't have to do. That's the main thing. You know what's taken as read. You don't have to do it. You can play very, very lightly. And with film, because you never quite know what you're dealing with, it's very hard to get there, I find.
Yeah. Cut. Cut there. That's it. That's a wrap! That's a quality. You love it. That's a wrap.
it's just I don't feel anything. It's weird. Maybe I'll have a delayed reaction later, but you know, it's kind of. Am I supposed to feel something when we rap? Is that right? I don't know.
Tragic. Are you gonna do the renovation scene?
In the trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can fit it in.
No.
I cut scenes
And that's longer than the trailer.
without any reference to the rest of the film. So, and they shoot out a sequence, I edit out of sequence. So you don't put the film together until you get to that first rough cut stage, which was my first week, when I had to sort of barricade the door and not let Marcus in. I didn't really. I mean,
No, you didn't. I only saw the intro, like opening credits.
That's true.
I saw the only title sequence. Carry on.
Yeah. And so so you go from that stage to putting it all together and working through it. And then I remember going to the office on, I think, the Friday morning or the Thursday night. And I was very, very excited because I watched it through for the first time. And, you know, all the things that you're hoping for, but, you know, you might be a little bit concerned about, is that really going to work? Is it going to work? Am I going to get away with it? And a lot of those boxes were just going tick, 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 tick.
I'm a very good friend of Stephen Delane, and when he said he was working with Marcus and doing a film which is a Greek story, I said, oh, I want to do that. So I've got a huge love for Greece and Greek music, and I read the script and thought it was lovely, so that's how it all came about. Normally, and in this case, I watched the film a couple of times. I watched it with Marcus and then on my own a few times. And then I'm just in my own workroom with a piano, looking at the screen, and I try things. And if I like them, I write them down and then play them to Marcus. If he likes them, then I orchestrate them for the band we've got. I did something on it that I've never done before, which is, I vaguely think it might be something that's worth doing again, because there's quite a range of emotion in the film, and I thought, hang on, I'll have a look on the internet. So I looked up Greek laments, and there were a couple of really old ones, I mean pre-naught BC, if there is, it can't be a naught BC, can there? But more than 2,000 years old. How they recorded them then, I don't know. But there were a couple of ancient tunes, and I didn't actually use them, but I used them sort of as a starting point.
Thank you for your support. It is gratefully received by everyone. I do so on behalf of everybody, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.